is Miss Elaine from the Oosterhout Free Library, and I was just looking at some pictures of some interesting birds. And I thought, since this is the time of year we see lots and lots of birds outside every day and hear them singing, I thought we'd listen to some bird sounds and maybe learn a little bit about birds. Find out, how do we know if it is a bird or not? Well, we have a book called It Could Still Be a Bird. It's by Alan Fowler and it's published by Children's Press. So let's see. How do you know if it's a bird? If it has feathers and wings and it flies and it lays eggs, it's a bird. But what if it doesn't fly? Could it still be a bird? Of course it can. Like, what kind of birds are these? Penguins. Sure, penguins don't fly, but they are birds. What if it's so tiny it can stand on your finger? It could still be a bird, like a hummingbird. What if it's bigger than you are? That's pretty tall. It could still be a bird, like an ostrich. A bird could be as plain as a sparrow or as fancy as a peacock. A bird could be as graceful as a swan or as funny as a pelican. A bird could be bright red as a cardinal or blue as a jay, a blue jay. A bird can be many different colors, like a macaw. A bird could live in a tree near your house. But you know what kind of bird that is, right? Who knows what kind of bird it is? It's an owl, of course. A bird might live in the woods or on a farmyard. And what kind of bird do we have there? We have chickens. Or in the zoo, and it's still a bird. That's a very different looking kind of bird, isn't it? Yes. But even if it flies, and even if it lays eggs, if it doesn't have feathers, it's not a bird. All birds have feathers. And that's how we know if it could still be a bird or not. Okay, well, let's read some fun stories about birds. I have two that I want to share with you. And the first one is about a very brave little bird named Pepito. And the name of our book is, oh, I hear a rooster crowing. Okay, we'll tell our rooster to be quiet now. A story of Pepito the Brave by Scott Beck. And this is published by Dutton Children's Books. Let's see what's so brave about little Pepito. Well, Pepito was afraid of heights. So he's afraid to be up high, like in the tree. So when it was time to leave the nest, he decided that he would go his own way. And all his brothers and sisters flew away. But what did Pepito do? He climbed down the tree. And now how is he going to go to follow them? Well, a fox said, "You should run like me." So Pepito ran. Oh, look how fast he's running. Until he came to a fence. He couldn't run through the fence. "You should, well, when I come to a fence," said the frog, "I hop." Can Pepito hop over the fence like a frog would hop? Let's see. Sure enough, Pepito hopped and he went right over the fence. It looked like smooth sailing. There he goes running again. Oh, until he came to a river. You can't hop across that river. "Can you swim?" asked the fish. "I can try," said Pepito. And so, sure enough, Pepito swam all the way across the river. He was making real progress. He's a little wet, we could see, but he's still running. Oh, but then he came to a busy road. All those cars and trucks, how's he going to cross? Why don't you fly over? Asked the gopher. Oh, I'm afraid of heights, said Pepito. Well then, why not go under? Gophers can tunnel under things, so why not Pepito? Sure enough, Pepito burrowed under the road, and you can barely see him. He came out on the other side. Finally, he saw his brothers and sisters in a new tree. He was so happy, he climbed right up. And when they saw him, they cheered, Pepito, how did you get here? They knew he didn't fly. I ran, I hopped, I swam, I burrowed, and I climbed. Oh, his brothers and sisters were very impressed. Look at their faces. They can't believe he did all that. But Pepito, they said, if you are brave enough to do all of those things, well, then you must be brave enough to fly. And so they all flew off together. Oh, there they go. See them in the corner? And Pepito led the way. How can you tell Pepito from his brothers and sisters? Do you see what's different about Pepito? There's something different. They're all like red birds, but Pepito has yellow wings, doesn't he? Yes, everybody else is kind of orange colored. So Pepito was pretty brave. He did all the things the other animals did, and he flew too, like a bird should do. That's the story of Pepito the Brave. Let's do one more quick story, and then I'll show you how to make a little bird that flies. That's a brave bird because it can fly. Okay, this is kind of a silly book. Actually, it's a very silly book, but silly books are fun too, aren't they? And it's called There Is a Bird on Your Head, and it's by Mo Willems. And maybe some of you have read books about this character elephant and his good friend Piggy. The elephant's name is Gerald, and Piggy's name is Piggy. So let's see. This book is published by Hyperion Books, and it's called There Is a Bird on Your Head. And we see our friends Gerald and Piggy just sort of relaxing when who comes along but a bird. Piggy, said Gerald. Is there something on my head? Oh, yes. There is a bird on your head. There is a bird on my head? Ah! I don't think Gerald's too happy about that bird on his head, do you? Is there a bird on my head now? No. Now there are two birds on your head. What are two birds doing on my head? Oh, they are in love. The birds on my head are in love? Yes, they are lovebirds. I don't know if Gerald's too happy about that. Lovebirds? How would you know they are lovebirds? Well, they are making a nest. Two birds are making a nest on my head. Why would two birds make a nest on my head? Oh, I'm afraid to ask. Do you know why they're making a nest? Let's see. Do I have an egg on my head? One, two, three. You have 3 eggs on your head. I do not want 3 eggs on my head. Well, then I have good news. The eggs are gone? No, the eggs are hatching. So they won't be eggs much longer, right? Hatching. The eggs on my head are hatching. Oh, no. Poor Gerald. And now, what do we hear? We hear cheep, 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 cheep. They have hatched. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm having trouble turning this last page. There we are. Now I have 3 baby chicks on my head and 2 birds and a nest. I do not want 3 baby chicks, 2 birds, and a nest on my head. Well, then where do you want them? Somewhere else. Well, why not ask them to go somewhere else? Ask them. Ask them. Okay, I'll try asking. Excuse me, birds, but will you please go somewhere else? No problem. It worked. Bye. And off go the birds, taking their nest and their chicks. Now, there are no birds on my head. Oh, thank you, Piggy. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Where did those birds end up? Not on Gerald's head. Now they're on Piggy's head. Oh, no. Let me tell you a little secret about books that are written by Mr. Mo Willems. Whenever he writes a book about Gerald and Piggy, somewhere hiding, if you've ever seen his book, Don't Let the Pigeon Ride the Bus, or Drive the Bus, I should say, and some other books about pigeon, somewhere on these end pages, he hides that pigeon. Can you find the pigeon on the end pages of this book? I'll bring it a little closer. Everybody see where that pigeon is? There he is, eating a hot dog, I think, with the birds. Okay, that's just a little extra secret. Well, are we ready to make a bird? Sure, let's make one. Start with a piece of paper, and I've just got some paper that's already been printed. It's just some junk paper. You can use any paper you have, but just regular printer paper is good. If you have construction paper, that works too. And as you can see, I'm folding it in half, this direction, okay? Not the long skinny way, but just like that. And I'm folding it in half because I'm going to cut it in 2. So we have 2 parts, okay? And you can use the scissors to cut it, or if you're lucky and it rips in half pretty easily, as it did, there we go. Now, leave one piece on the side and take the other piece. And let's borrow Pepito here to show we're going to draw a bird. Now, it's easy to draw a bird because birds are just a couple shapes, especially if you make a simple bird like we're going to make. Think of an egg, right? And we're going to start, and that's a good thing to think of with birds, right? Because they come from eggs. So we're going to make kind of an oval shape. Whoop. Sort of an oval, not perfect. And that's going to be the bird's body. And we're going to give him a head, and his head is going to be a big circle. So we're going to draw a big circle on there. Whoop. Again, not perfect, but. And then think sort of a triangle, but not exactly. Actually, if you look at Pepito, he's kind of an oval, a round, and then a triangle for a tail. We're not going to worry about wings because we're making the wings separately. So when I say a triangle, it's not going to come to a point, but it's going to come out. It's going to have 3 sides. Out, another side, and one more. But we're not going to take it to a point. We're going to take it in about to there. Okay, so it's almost a triangle. So that's our bird. Oh, one more triangle. He needs a little beak on his face, right? So let's put a little triangle right there. Boop, boop. 1, 2. 2 lines makes it our triangle. And that's it. And we can draw an eye on them, and well, however you want to do it. But then we cut them out. So rather than take the time to cut them out here, and you can always get an adult to help if you're not using scissors a lot, but we cut them out. And here's one I did before. And you could see I drew him with pencil lines, and then when I cut him out, I decided to make his tail a little longer, even though I drew it that way. So you could do that. It doesn't matter, because later you'll color it, and it'll be, you won't even see those lines. So that's why I'm using even junk paper that has printing on, because I'm going to color over it. You'll hardly see it. So there's our bird all cut out. Now remember, we saved the other half of that paper to make his wings. And let me get that paper that I saved. Here it is. What we're going to do is fold it in a way that's called like an accordion fold. And what I mean by that is you fold just maybe about an inch, maybe about this much. Can you see? Just about that much. Fold down. Now instead of keep folding it over, don't do that like this. No, okay. We folded that. Now we're going to fold backwards. So we're going to take it and flip it backwards and fold it again. Okay. So it should look like this so far. We got in and out. Okay. And then we're going to go back again into another fold. And I am not doing this one too well because I'm holding it up. If you do it on the table, it's easier. But there we go. And one more fold in like this. And when you're done, it should look something like this. That's why it's called an accordion fold. If you ever saw, there's a musical instrument called an accordion. It kind of goes in and out when you play. But anyway. So there's our folded. This is going to be the wings. And what we're going to do is fold them in half right down the middle. Because one side will be one wing, and the other side is the other wing. And then to get the wings on our bird, take our bird. Now before you do all this, if you want to color your bird, you'll need to color them. Maybe even before you cut them out might make it easier. But then we take our bird, and I've already done it on this one, but I'll show you how. Take them, fold them kind of in half like that. And that's where you put that little slit that you can see I already did cut, but cut a little slit just about an inch or so, wide enough to fit this through there, okay? I'll show you what I mean. So this one obviously was already cut. We have a little slit there. We take these wings that we made and we push them through there, and right where we folded it, the middle part that we folded like that is where you stop. And you'll probably want to get a little piece of tape to hold it so they stay in place, and that's what I've got here, is a little piece of tape. And I've got my wings like that, so I'll tape this side so it holds it up there and doesn't slide out. And I'll again a piece of little piece of tape, and put it on this side like that. And there's our birdie. And now I said he was a flying bird, and I'll show you the one I made. Maybe you saw him sitting back here. He's just been hanging out, waiting for his chance to fly over and say hi. And as you can see, I made a blue bird. Now, this was paper that was already printed. It had, like, animals printed on the back, so it's got kind of weird design on there. But, and I taped the wings so they'd stay in place. And then all I did was tape a piece of string on. Just take a piece of yarn, string, whatever you have. Put a little piece of tape to hold it in place. And you have a lovely little flying bird. Whee, there he goes. Oh. Maybe he'll come back. Here he comes. All right, that's our little birdie that we're going to make. You can make one at home. Any kind of paper, printer paper, construction paper, even something junk mail that make sure it's okay with mom or dad. Take some junk mail and turn it into a lovely little bird. Okay? All right. Hope you enjoyed our bird story time. Let's play a little more. Some interesting bird sounds out there. And stop by the library sometime. Give us a call, 570-823-0156, and make an appointment to stop by and pick up some great bird books or other books as well. Okay? Oh, I think I hear some chickens calling. Bye, everybody.